Now on BBC World, how to plan a revolution. Following the story of opposition activists in Azerbaijan as they tried to stage a peaceful orange revolution after the country's controversial parliamentary elections of November 2005.
Quiet boulevard at night, apart from the waves.
Two young political activists, Murat Gasimli and Amin Husseinov, are on a mission. In Azerbaijan, what they are planning to do could lead to treason charges and land them in jail for life.
The plan is that we're going to hit key areas in central Baku with orange-colored political graffiti message: freedom and resign. I trust Amin, and I know that Amin means well, that he wants to get these things done. If you don't trust anyone, how can you achieve anything? People have taken risks far higher, far greater than this, in pursuit of liberty and freedom.
But the stakes couldn't be higher. Azerbaijan is a state in which 15,000 well-paid interior ministry troops, loyal to the government, are regularly ordered to stop political dissent.
I'm exciting everything.
Azerbaijan is 2 months away from a general election. Observers say none of the elections held in the last 12 years have met international democratic standards. Murat and Amin fear the coming elections will not be free and fair either. They believe over half the population wants democratic change, and this action is the first step in a campaign for a peaceful revolution. It was the late President Heydar Aliyev who brought stability to Azerbaijan following the chaotic collapse of the Soviet Union, but at a cost. The US State Department says Azerbaijan's security forces are notorious for committing human rights abuses. The Council of Europe condemns Azerbaijan for torturing political prisoners. When Heydar Aliyev died 2 years ago, his son Ilham kept the political dynasty going by winning a flawed and internationally condemned election in October 2003.
Our country has great oil resources, and it's not just oil. God gave us everything. It's just that President Aliyev has stripped us of our freedom.
Azerbaijan is perched on the Caspian Sea and sandwiched between Iran and Russia. A moderate Muslim state, oil-rich, expecting $160 billion in revenue in the next 2 decades. British Petroleum leads an international consortium here that is upgrading the oil infrastructure and investing $22 billion. But Azerbaijan has a reputation from international observer groups for corruption. Many worry that the oil revenue will disappear into the pockets of the elite. 40% of the population lives in poverty. When President Ilham Aliyev came to power, Amin was covering the elections as a journalist for a local news agency. Widespread vote rigging triggered clashes in the capital Baku between the police and opposition supporters. More than 700 people were arrested, 300 injured, and one protester died. Emin himself was badly beaten and ended up in hospital. It's this experience that led him to form the pro-democracy youth movement called Magum. It's time.
The very fact that me and countless others were beaten and even killed on 16th October 2003 made many to understand that the present regime has no right to rule Azerbaijan, and that sooner or later this regime will be forced to go.
Он недостоин правлением с такой страной, как Азербайджан, и что рано или поздно они должны будут просто уйти. Да, а отец вообще на меня смотрит как, ну, говорит, тебе мало дубинки дали.
As for my dad, he jokingly says that I was not sufficiently beaten back in 2003, and that only more beatings will make me smarter. Then again, they think that what I'm doing is childish and can end very badly.
But recent events in the region have given the protesters hope that it doesn't have to end badly. Political youth movements funded by the United States and wealthy backers like George Soros and Russian financiers organized protests that brought down authoritarian regimes in the last few years. Serbia 2000, Georgia 2003, and then in 2004 the Ukraine, a revolt dubbed the Orange Revolution. George Bush paid a visit to Georgia's capital Tbilisi in June 2005 to personally bless the revolutions.
We are living in historic times when freedom is advancing from the Black Sea to the Caspian to the Persian Gulf and beyond. As you watch free people gathering in squares like this across the world, waving their nation's flags and demanding their God-given rights, you can take pride in this fact. They have been inspired by your example, and they take hope in your success.
Murat Gazinli is on a pilgrimage to Georgia too. Educated at the London School of Economics and now holding a British passport, Murat has recently returned to join the Azeri opposition as a political advisor.
It's great to be here because I remember watching this square on the news and back in London when all of this was happening and thinking, well, maybe one day the same will happen in Azerbaijan.
But can it happen? There is oil in Azerbaijan. It's also a Muslim ally in the war on terror. The Azeris have troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. Despite President Bush's words, the US is not supporting a revolution in Azerbaijan. Murat needs all the help he can get. He's come to meet the youth movement Kamara, who led the revolution in Georgia. If the Azerbaijani government finds out, it could charge Murat with treason.
We only have less than 50 days before the polling day. Is there anything specific that we can do in that short period of time?
Keep everything non-violent, because if any single window would be broken, so that's disaster. Forget about international support. You need to have strong organization, like military organization, very clear chain of command and very clear line of information circulation. So that's, without that, nothing will succeed. How many activists do you have?
Just the opposition, regarding excluding the youth movements, so including altogether. Altogether, probably about 1,200, between 1,200 and 1,500 people, up to 60, between 50 and 60% of the population of those who will vote realistically would support the opposition.
Immediately after elections, calls for rally to celebrate victory, or
You should say
claim victory anyway, not wait for elections would be covered by international media.